Earlier this June, the Los Angeles Unified School District's Board of Education voted 5-2 in favor of a cell phone ban on campus. So this semester is going to be one of implementation and how to best put this plan into action.
I was definitely addicted in some manner to my cell phone.
Neil Tucker is a senior at Reseda High School. He's one of more than 490,000 students across the district who will soon have to adjust to not having cell phone access during the school day, including at places like lunch and other breaks. Neil is also a member of the Student Advisory Council for the now approved LAUSD ban, but says it initially took him some convincing before being fully on board with the idea.
I think for me and for a lot of students, you just have to give them a little bit of time and force them to actually think about the implementation and say, this is actually bad. I know that you really love your phone, but just give it 5 minutes of thought and think about how much this phone is actually damaging you rather than helping.
That reflective mindset is what Neil and others hope carries this initiative's rollout into the new school year, along with some statistical reinforcement. In the past resolution, it cites a 2016 Common Sense Media study finding half of teens feel addicted to their phones. Additionally, in the U.S., 1/3 of public K-12 teachers say students being distracted by cell phones is a major problem in their classroom, according to 2024 numbers from the Pew Research Center. Focusing solely on high school teachers, that number goes up to 72%. It's details like these, along with personal anecdotes across the district, that prompted LAUSD School Board member Nick Melvoin to spur this ban into action, crafting it with help from students like Neil.
There are definitely positive elements of social media and of smartphone use, but for kids in particular, we need to be a little more watchful.
Dr. Jacqueline Nisi, an assistant professor of psychiatry and human behavior at Brown University, echoes the idea that this is an obvious problem.
We do have enough, both research and just common sense, to say, for example, that when a student has a phone with them and they're looking at it and they're scrolling through Instagram, they are not also paying attention to what's happening in the classroom.
LAUSD has to figure out how to enforce this resolution, such as whether to store cell phones in specialized lockers for the day or otherwise keep them out of students' hands. Accommodations for others also have to be taken into account, like special needs students or those who need language translation. Dr. Nisi says if issues like these are addressed and the ban is implemented in an effective way, it could make a difference in terms of students' abilities to engage with what's happening in the classroom and engage with their peers.
A cell phone ban can look very different across a lot of different, across different districts or different schools. But in general, those studies would suggest that there is a positive impact on academic achievement.
And while some parents worry about how they would communicate with their kids in case of emergency, parents like Vinayak Tucker, Neil's dad, feels this ban represents an opportunity to create as much awareness as possible in order to make the change a lot smoother and remove any negative stigma.
I did have the concern initially, but then I was thinking to myself, like, we've gone through all this time in our humanity without having a cell phone and having to contact our kids while they were at school.
The hope is that this can be a major step toward happier and healthier kids.
There is a whole other world outside the internet that you just have to interact with to reap the benefits.
As for other districts adopting a similar plan, a bill is making its way through the California legislature that would limit or ban student cell phone uses in public schools statewide. In the studio, I'm Gio Insignares, KCAL News.